a fun way to enter a show. Hello, you are watching Weekends with Whitney. I'm your host, Whitney Allen. I am joined by Steve Byer with Steve Segways. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me, Whitney.
Well, we are excited to have you on what a great set, a beautiful day. We are just soaking this warm weather in before the fall comes. So today our show is all about being a tourist in your own town, your own city. And there are so many great venues here in Chicago that I don't feel like a lot of locals take advantage of.
Very, very true, Whitney. In fact, when we have locals, they usually start before we get them with the attitude, I live here, I don't need to take a tour. And then they have somebody visit, their mom, their dad, their daughter, their best friend, and they drag them kicking and screaming to take a Segway tour, and they become some of my best customers. Every time they have somebody visiting, they come back to town.
Well, I rode in with high heels because I know Segways. I absolutely love them. Yes. They're one of my favorite things. My mother-in-law actually was the one that got us hooked. She was coming in and said, we're doing a Segway. And that's how we got hooked. And now I just love them. You do all sorts of tours. Now, how long have you been in business?
I started Steve Segway Tours in October of 2007. It was just 6 Segways and me. It seems like a really stupid time to start. You know, the season is basically over, but I just had this feeling that I needed to get my name out there, and it really worked because come January, February, the phone was ringing, and I hit the ground in 2008 running, and I just kept growing and starting having people that worked for me, the best tour guides in Chicago, by the way, Whitney,
as you know. I've taken that, and they do know everything. So going into this new season, I know we don't want to say fall, but it's coming, guys. And as we go into the fall, what exactly do you guys change your tour up?
Well, we actually don't really change until winter.
Okay.
We run all year long. I have always been open all year long. I actually have 12 Scottish people coming for a wedding that have booked December 30th already.
Wow.
I think they're a little nuts, but that's what they wanted. But we do make concessions, and we tend to run, instead of our really all-inclusive 3-hour tour, we tend to run a 2-hour tour more often in the winter, even in the bright of day. Instead of doing 9:30 and 1:30, we tend to do more like a 11 or noon to catch the warmest, sunniest part of the day.
Absolutely. Now, for people that don't know, Segways are what we rode in on. They're the two wheels. How do Segways, they kind of the new thing, would you say? Like over the last, I think you hit it right at the golden time. 2007 is when you started seeing them.
Well, 2007 is when they sort of switched over from the original version 1 to version 2. Version 1, you were very stiff and you had to throttle with your left hand to turn left, throttle like that to turn right. These, generation 2, any direction you lean, the machine turns. So yes, you really hit it. That's when it started getting, I'd say, more and more popular, but part of that is just more and more people started to do that.
Now, are they street legal? Do you ride on the street or sidewalk?
We are pedestrians. This is a pedestrian assist device.
Awesome.
You have, quite frankly, more control than a person who starts to jog. Ooh. Once a person starts to jog, they cannot stop and turn and do anything that you can do unless they're like Waddle and other of those great, you know.
Joggers, yeah.
No. He was a Chicago Bear, great wide receiver.
Yeah. So unless you can be like that, but these are really, you can move around, maneuver around the city, and you really do. You go up and down all sorts of areas. I know even in my tour, we went to the Bears Stadium.
Yes.
That was awesome. So tell us what we're going to kind of see in a tour if we come with you.
On a tour, you're going to start in Grant Park, where we're located. We're going to train you, and it's going to be individualized training, and we don't go until everybody is comfortable. That means if you're completely comfortable and your mom still needs some work, you're going to be riding around playing. You don't care. You're having a great time. But we want to make sure your mom is ready to go. Then we're going to go through Grant Park with Buckingham Fountain, along the lakefront, the whole museum campus area. And I mean the whole, with Northerly Island, Soldier Field if it's open. Then eventually we're going to come back on Michigan Avenue.
Now we're at Oak Street Food and Drink. Do you ever come down here? Because this is beautiful.
Yes, we do. I actually have tours. What you should always do first is my standard tour. Terrible name. Sounds like there's a premium level tour I'm not selling you, but it should be called the classic tour or the awesome tour. But for returning riders and for people who feel, which we get a lot of repeat business, we have all kinds of other tours, one of which is the North Tour, which comes all the way up by Oak Street Beach and into Lincoln Park. We have a River North Tour that follows the path of the Chicago River on the East-West branch, then the North-South branch. We have an architecture tour. We have just a play tour for people who want to come back and not hear anything, but play on their Segways.
Oh, you have a play tour? Now that's the one I'm coming back for.
That would be great. That's where we do the extreme riding.
Wow.
We have a lot of fun. I take that back. We have fun on every tour.
Absolutely.
But that tour is all about the riding and not the combination of riding and listening to my great tour guides entertain you.
Well, that is wonderful. We love your tours. I've been on them. They're absolutely great. How do you hire such great tour guides?
Well, being a tour guide myself and being maybe the best tour guide in Chicago, no. People actually ask, I actually cost $100 more, and the reason is I don't want to take the money out of the pockets of my tour guide. So if somebody insists on having me, they have to pay for it.
Ooh.
I will tell any customer right off, am I worth it? No, my tour guides are phenomenal.
Right,
They're at
all
least
of them are.
almost as good as me.
Absolutely. Well, we love all of your guides. We love Steve's Segways. Guys, make sure to check them out. Be a tourist in your own city. Now, we're not done. We have 3 other segments coming up. Once again, we're at Oak Street Beach, food and drink. We'll be right back.
This portion of Weekends with Whitney was brought to you by STI Movers, the official movers of Weekends with Whitney.